AI is no longer just about fancy demos or cloud APIs. It's about who owns the power, the hardware, the data, the models. Microsoft just signaled that it's ready to take more control of all those pieces. In an all-hands meeting, Microsoft's AI boss Mustafa Suleyman revealed that the company is planning significant new investments in its own computing clusters to train AI models in-house that can compete with OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, and others. Today, we'll walk through what Microsoft is doing, why it matters, what challenges lie ahead, and how this might change the AI landscape. Here's what we know from the report. On September 11, 2025, Microsoft made clear that it will expand its physical infrastructure to train more of its own AI models. Bloomberg.com, Mustafa Suleyman, Microsoft's consumer AI chief, told employees they plan significant investments in computing clusters inside Microsoft. Bloomberg.com. The goal is to build models that are competitive with top AI firms, OpenAI, Anthropic, etc. Bloomberg.com. What's not yet detailed, exactly how many GPUs, where the new data centers or clusters will be sited, or the timeline for these deployments. To understand why this is a big deal, let's put it in context. AI models, especially large ones, require massive amounts of compute. Processors, GPUs, TPUs, high-speed interconnects, cooling, power, physical space, all expensive, all technically demanding. Many companies outsource or lease compute from cloud providers, but owning compute gives you control over cost, efficiency, speed of iteration, and also data privacy, security. Microsoft already has a large cloud infrastructure with Azure, but in-house clusters tuned specifically for model training yield performance gains and cost savings over time. And as the competition heats up, with OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, and others pushing frontier models, owning compute becomes a competitive edge. Microsoft's strategy has several pieces. Product integration. Microsoft powers many of its services, Office, Teams, Windows, Bing, with AI. Better internal models means better performance, reliability, and customization for Microsoft-first products. Cost efficiency. Training large models externally or leasing compute is expensive. Over time, owning more infrastructure could reduce costs and make Microsoft less dependent on third-party compute providers. IP and ownership. If you train your own models, you own the weights, you own the innovations. That gives Microsoft both strategic flexibility and more control over where models are used and how. Speed and iteration. Having your clusters means you can iterate faster, smaller updates, more experiments, which is critical in AI, where the landscape shifts rapidly. But scaling up compute is easier said than done. Some risks, supply and cost constraints, high-end GPUs or equivalent accelerators are expensive, often backlogged. Getting enough of them, or next-gen chips, is non-trivial. Power, cooling, and infrastructure. Data centers need massive power, cooling, reliable connectivity. In many locations, power supply or environmental constraints are non-trivial. Running costs and energy consumption. Operating large clusters consumes a lot of energy, both in electricity and cooling. Environmental, regulatory, and cost implications can be significant. Talent shortage. Building, managing, optimizing large AI model training clusters requires top engineers, ML researchers, ops experts. Competition for talent is fierce. Risk of overcapacity or misinvestment. If models shift architecture, for example more efficient or specialized ones, or regulations change, large investments can be risky. We should also look at what others are doing, because Microsoft isn't acting in a vacuum. OpenAI continues to scale. Google has been building internal clusters, specialized hardware, tensor processing units. Anthropic is also investing heavily in its own compute and research infrastructure. NVIDIA, AMD, Intel are expanding GPU accelerator production, which feeds into all model training. This looks like part of an arms race. Whoever can get the fastest, most efficient compute with the best models with the least cost wins in AI right now. For users and businesses, this could bring changes. Better functionality in Microsoft's AI features, faster responses, more capable models, possibly more offline or edge AI capabilities. Pricing and availability. Microsoft owning more compute might let them reduce costs for customers or bundle features more aggressively. More choices. With more in-house models, Microsoft may offer a wider portfolio. Different models optimized for different tasks, speed, cost, accuracy. For enterprises, especially regulated ones, stronger privacy control since Microsoft can more tightly manage data, model training pipelines, and compliance. There are some key indicators to keep an eye on. Specific announcements of new data centers or clusters. Where are they building? How big? New internal model launches. Are these models meaningfully better than what Microsoft currently licenses or uses externally? Partnerships, hardware, power providers, AI research groups, countries with supportive infrastructure, regulatory, environmental reports, energy usage, sustainability, carbon footprint. Competitive moves, how OpenAI, Google, Anthropic respond, especially in terms of hardware deals, model releases, and pricing. Financial filings, how Microsoft's investments in compute appear in their capital expenditure, and whether shareholders believe the returns are worth it. To sum up, Microsoft's decision to significantly ramp up its own computing infrastructure for AI model training is a big bet. It aims to give Microsoft more control, more capability, and a competitive edge in a landscape where speed, scale, and quality matter immensely. But it's not without risk. Cost, energy, supply, and regulation pose real challenges. Still, if they pull this off, the effect could ripple across tech. Better AI products, more competition, possibly lower costs, but also higher expectations. Thanks for watching this deep dive. If you learned something new, hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss future breakdowns on the tech that's shaping our world. And in the comments, do you think Microsoft can pull this off, or will the weight of cost, power, and logistics hold them back?